Wait, Professor released this week? Shit. And I just made the two-parter for Novelist and Nightmare. Is it too late to cancel this series? No? Alright. I was actually planning a Ripper video this week, but it looks like you'll have to wait another week for something fun. I need to be topical for the views. Alright, story time. I'm half convinced this is the only reason some of you are here. Professor Luchino is a researcher of venomous and poisonous reptiles and amphibians while working alongside Dr. Dekean Thompson. Luchino would experiment with the venom of the creatures he studied by first having the venom/poison affect the rat, and then test it on a human, perhaps even himself, albeit with treatment methods nearby. When Dr. Thompson received an extraordinary reptile that began as a snake and then grew four limbs like a lizard, he invited Luchino to assist him in his studies. As Luchino had caused the failure of one of Dr. Thompson's businesses, Luchino suspected a hidden agenda, but nonetheless accepted the offer. Although the new reptile's venom did not affect a rat, when Luchino was bitten he began to mutate. Seeing this as a breakthrough in his research, he continued to mutate into a lizard hybrid. I'm finding it hard not to make any more furry jokes here, but where there's a will, there's a way. Let's start off by covering a fun fact, that being the canon Manor game Luchino competed in, that being the Lakeside Village game along with Fiona, Eli, Martha, Demi, and two other unknown characters. One of those unknown characters died, and the other one sacrificed Fiona during the game. But other than those two, we don't know for sure the fates of everyone in that game, with one minor exception. It seems that we currently don't know whether the game's participant labeled 612 is Demi or Luchino, but we do know that 612 died, leaving their fates up to 50-50. What do you mean the character dying isn't a fun fact? Someone better tell the Danganronpa community. Wow, that was a long one. Let's do abilities next. We're covering Professor today, but I'll try to do Evil Reptilian soon, I promise. Scale hardening lets Luchino, well, take a fucking guess, harden his scales. This lets him block a basic attack and stun the hunter for 4 seconds, but don't think everything's great, dear viewer. After you've used this, you have a hefty cooldown of 60 seconds. To make up for that, however, if you miss your first 1 second window, you get another crack at it within 8 seconds. And if you mess it up because you're bad and stupid, your cooldown is only 30 seconds. This ability is really strong, but you need to keep in mind that NetEase hates you, and as such you can't do anything against any kind of ability, besides Hellumber, of course. But the longer we talk about him, the longer I become sad, knowing that NetEase will always hate hunters just a bit more than the rest of us. Wait, that's weird. Hey, what's causing that? Wait, do we have a budget? Since when? Anyways, moving on. The next ability to cover on the list is Evil Scale. Thanks to your absolutely rancid aura, probably doing to have your cleavage out all the time, cover up Luchino. Anyways, thanks to your powerful chest aura, hunters within 5.1 meters take about a third of a second longer to complete their attacks. This doesn't sound too huge, but having that extra window to be able to activate your ability in time is extremely helpful. Our next ability to cover is Scale Shedding. When Professor is in the game, 3 scales are automatically placed around the map, and he can inject himself in order to shed another one on the spot with a cooldown of 2 minutes. When picked up by a survivor, it'll give them their very own trial test of Professor with a single charge of Scale Hardening, although the knockback will only be for 1.78 seconds. Shit, did the budget run out? Give me a second. Alright, there we go. That should be enough to finish this video at least. Good thing this picture of Luchino's chest was so easy to get. Now, I'm not exactly sure why NetEase decided on 1.78 seconds for the stun, but with our newly acquired budget, we can both find out together, introducing a behind-the-scenes look at NetEase's delicate balancing process. Riveting stuff, isn't it? Still more intelligent than most of the Identity 5 subreddit. Scaled Skin is probably one of my favorite abilities, just for how much it made Gamekeeper mains panic when it was first revealed. Because at the time, we didn't originally know that it would only activate once per game, I'm sure that they were all quaking in their boots. Anyways, once a game you're immune to chip damage, except for Photographer and Breaking Wheel. Not that big of an ability, but hilarious nonetheless. Toxicity Limit is Professor's main downside, which only applies after he uses the effect of Scale Shedding, reducing his decoding speed by about 10% for 30 seconds. All in all, Luchino's most recent version to visit the manor is a very versatile kiter/support character who can be... What do you mean the video's not over? Oh yeah, personas. For personas, I start off by saying that you don't need Flywheel Effect as your main ability. Scale Hardening already serves as a panic button, which is the main purpose of Flywheel. You could run Broken Windows, but I much prefer Tide Turner personally. Not only is it easier for you to get a rescue without taking a hit compared to other survivors, Luchino joins Mercenary in the League of Survivors who can rescue from detention, thus invalidating an entire part of my Merc video that I put out last week. I'm not upset, you're upset. If you're asking for my opinions on Professor, he's actually a lot more fun than I expected. Evil Reptilian is my favorite hunter, thanks in large part to how fun it is to jump through the air, but I've also found it fun just kiting normally as Professor, completely to the surprise of myself from a week before his release, where I was actually a bit disappointed that he didn't have some kind of movement ability like his hunter identity. Let's put him on a tier list real quick, that's also topical these days, right? I'd say he's low A or high B tier. He could be stronger and I'll look like an idiot, but we'll find that out with time. As I said at the beginning of the video, next week's video will be covering the Ripper, a character who is inexplicably loved by a lot of people, including myself, but we only have so much time left for this video, so thank you for coming around.